Okay, part 14, I believe. So, I just yesterday published part 13, so I'm actually all caught up. Now, that isn't super relevant because there hasn't been any comments on parts 1 through 13 for me to read. So, I just keep going, I guess. But just for your information, my publishings are currently caught up with my recording. So you are seeing something where, if you would have put a comment on parts 1 through 13, I would have seen it before recording this one, but no one did. So it's irrelevant. Okay, I'm gonna be back in a second. Okay. Um, if you are confused by the title I put on, let me make sure I can confirm here. Part 13, he should have held her closer. I was referencing a song by a pop rock band named The Fold, which, if you're someone who watches my stuff because you were introduced to me because of Bionicle stuff, you probably know who The Fold is because they made some music for Lego, specifically for Lego Ninjago. But if you They also they established themselves as a band that was worth reaching out to by Lego, although The Weekend Whip was almost recorded by somebody else. Making this pop rock it's what I like to call vague Christian, which means you can tell it's kind of like the band members are Christian and they want to write Christian music, but for some reason, they're like afraid of something, right? They're like, maybe they're afraid their audience will get too narrow or something, so they keep it kind of a little bit like read between the linesy about the nature of their music. They weren't like that when they first started, but once they signed with Tooth and Nail, they got kind of like that. But anyway, they make this vague Christian pop rock. And one of their songs, I might get copyright claimed if I try to do this, but the chorus goes something like, "He should have held her closer, because it's all he had to do, because it's all he had to prove to all his closest friends that she was a bright and beaming light, a beacon in the night," so on, right? And that's what Kaoru's former lover reminded me of, because it's like he kind of let her drift off, and then he lost her. But the lyrics of that song are kind of vague and they're super vague, and so I don't really know what Dan Cassidy was writing about specifically. I guess he was watching the sunset in the car, and you can tell from the last chorus where he switches around and makes it first person, "I'm gonna hold you closer," that perhaps he is talking about some beloved of his own. But it's hard to understand what that's about, and maybe it's because it isn't about, kind of like the whole Never Seven situation, it isn't about anything really. He just thought that sounded good. Nirvana is really famous for that. What's the song about? Oh, it's just, I forgot what the lead singer for Nirvana's name was, but it's just stuff that these words together with this melody just kind of sounded good to me. Okay, so I just finished an ending, so I'm going to look at I already looked at everything in the clear list after I finished the ending, of course, got the ending, but I want to highlight the scenes list So, and I'm going to get the OCR on the case here. Try to get the, figure out what scenes I have and which scenes I have missing. Oh, I'm weirded out my OBS a bit there. It didn't actually affect the recording, but I want to get some of this stuff. No, I want to get some of this stuff out of my way. Oh well. OBS is being weird on me. So, I'm going to hit translate on the various scene titles, just so we can actually establish what these are and try to help me out figure out what scenes I have missing and maybe how I could actually get them. So, where's my, while my windows go, here's this, okay, awkwardness. Okay, so, Purorogue. Oh, so the first one I guess is just prologue, right? The translator didn't really do a good job with it, but it's prologue. The morning of the beginning, which I presume is like being on the train with UA at the beginning, right? The prologue, I presume, is actually the opening scene with Ayaka, that we now know is actually a flashback. So then we have 3, which is the introduction to Kaoru and the classroom once he gets to school that day. Then we have Deto no something. So that's the date of something, or the something's date, but we don't know. Okay, the morning of our date. I actually don't know what that means, but okay. Like, I know what it means, the morning of a date, but I don't know what scene that was in the story. I long since forgot. Wow. Yeah, there's no way. How did the OCR manage to decipher that wad of black? At the amusement park. So this is at the amusement park with, I guess the morning of our date is a really long scene then, because it takes a while before we actually get to the amusement park. Then we have confession, which I don't know what that's about. No, the second one is like part of the kanji for time. The first part is language. What does language time mean? I don't know. What is the translator? Okay, so it's probably a scene about Chion. But we don't know what Chion's thing. So Naname is the katakana. So it's UA and then some other stuff. UA, you're in a good mood. Okay. Morning scenery. Okay, don't know what that was about. Now we have the scene we're introduced to Shion. The scene we're introduced to Koyomi. Where you go for the lunch, right? Then we have afternoon rooftop, which you can skip if you don't go to the roof. But I think if you do it, you don't actually meet Kaoru on the roof the first time you go to the roof, but I think it gives you Kaoru points, and you might have to do it for the gateway into the Kaoru route to open. So this is Yasumi, this is day off. Okay. Something of the day off. Something, morning of the day off. Okay. Number 14, the price of the bet. This is when you go with Shion somewhere, I guess. Hone something. Minamo at the bookstore. Okay. So we're already introduced to Minamo at this point. How to spend a day off. Oh, this is the one with the jewel chocolate ring in the paper or something, going to studying for the test with UA or something like that. Now we have one missing, which is probably a scene with UA, if I were to guess. Then we have morning events. Sayumi's Oni-ga-i. Ne-ga-i. Don't know what that is, but okay. A moment after school. Probably have to do with Koyomi. She's a Puriho. What does Puriho mean? It's some expression that is probably not borrowed from English, and I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's not what the offline translator is translating it, which is purity ho. That's like that doesn't make sense. Okay, female college student. So that's about Koyomi. 17, yes. Something to do with Shion or something to do with UA, probably. I'll probably pick it up eventually. Modern Japanese homework trap. Missing scene. A request from Shion. Buying something here. Kimono. School store offense and defense. Missing a scene. Missing another scene. Minamo's wish. Oh. Which says everyone's wish, but that's Minamo. So that could be Minamo's wish. Neko Pyon's here. So that's the cat. So that's not the day off. That's the we haven't got to the other. So it's wrong about what to do on the day off. It's way farther ahead in the game. That was a way earlier day off than what the day off where you have to deal with the Neko Pyon. Tamano Yawake. Don't know what that is. But should it be Tomoya is awakening or something? Then we have Minamo big scene. Intermission. Missing scene. Lunch choice. 5 minutes off. Hard fight or something. Okay. Shon's invitation. Minamo and Ginko. Shukon's footsteps. Missing scene. Mysterious black lunchbox. Missing scene. Math skills. So that's probably with Kaoru, right? Okay. So now we're getting to the Kaoru stuff, I think. Utao Sensei's private life. The 7 Wonders of Samuki Academy. So we're still doing some of the UA stuff. Shon's heart. Sokka. That's when Minamo cheers at you. Health Song and Minamo. So the more Minamo stuff. Activate Operation Nei. Don't know what that is. The so-called Kain. Don't know what that's, but the translator's having a hard time with that. Leaving a van. You mean leaving bread. It should be pun, not bun. So it should be bread, not van. A white ball or something. Something with food. Missing scene. Tama no Yowake. Again, don't know what that means. Kaoru, please. A promise to Kaoru. Missing scene. Missing scene. Missing scene. So that has something to do with studying math, maybe. The Himawari group's dishwashing. Missing scene, missing scene, missing scene, missing scene. Distant memories. Midterms day 1, midterms day 2, final day of testing, missing scene, missing scene, missing scene, missing scene, missing scene, missing scene. Then we have Kaoru's Kaoru's profile, view of the sea, missing scene, makeup exam confirmed, remedial exams, on the day of the makeup exam, bookstore incident. But this is where you try to buy that manga, right? And Kaoru sees you to do it and stuff. The book that was delivered by Kaoru. Morning rendezvous with Kaoru. Details of the bookstore incident. Apologies and gratitude. Together with Kaoru. By accident, right? Ask her on a date. Missing scene. What happened at the movie theater? Retry. The feeling I couldn't shake off. The world I sought in the past. Movie on the holiday. Rainy day. What are you looking for? I seek the book. Shifting seasons. Confusion mind. Yeah, because the soundtrack. Kaoru's feelings. Soundtrack of Never 7. Confusion mind. Midnight phone call. Where she asks you on a date. Farewell from the past. Starting a new life. So, we got all the end of Kaoru, but there is something here in between ask her out on a date and what happened at the movie theater. Retry. Feeling I couldn't shake off. But it's after together with Kaoru. So it's kind of early in the Kaoru stuff. You can get this scene. That makes you tempted to go back and try to see if I can hit it. But I had to find to kind of check save files and see which save file could possibly land me that. So let me make prediction. Let me mess with this a little bit. This is a bit messing around, but I'll mess with it. Continue. Load. So let's try this one. Okay, if she's already at your house, this is too late, right? Yeah, I think that we need to back out. We need to do... Whoops. Try a different load that's a little bit earlier. Okay, we'll just skip. So Mateo is wait, by the way. Of course it's shellfish. I'm not eating properly, but I am eating. Okay, we're going to say I am eating properly. Not good, but not bad. Something about perfect. Okay. Did you lose your notebook? So what's going on? Okay. Oh, I can't skip this. Okay. We're going to read something we didn't read before. So what? Did you lose your precious notes in the pink strive? The pink stripe. No. Presume it's like with the pink stripe.
それはちゃんとここにあるよ。
That's right. I rummaged through my bag. Shikashi, what if I forget what that is. But
あれない。なくなってるよ。
no? Is it gone? She frantically searched through her bag, blinded. However, nothing like that came out at all. Don't tell me you really lost it. She nods silently. I didn't think that I'd said as a joke would turn out to be true. Oh, he said okay. I think I'm actually pretty sharp today, question mark.
ももちゃん。
Tomo-chan. Yue smiles, depressed, and stares at me. Those eyes are those of a small child begging a parent. Okay, I'll buy it again if I feel like it.
うん。
Honestly, she's lost something I gave her before. I felt like it was like this back then, too. Honestly, I'm the only one who's lost what I gave her. Huh? If it keeps going like this, it just looks like she's after me. I don't mind, since they're all cheap. I don't know exactly what all that meant, but whatever, I'll keep going. For some reason, I'm feeling lazy about plugging things into Google Translate if the offline translator gives me something weird. So, is it okay to do what you wanted me to do in the dark? I don't know what this is supposed to be, but something having to do with listening turned into dark. So somehow replace the dark with listening, and that sentence makes sense. I could do it. English, Japanese, listen. Grab that kanji. Paste it in. Is it okay to ask me what you wanted to know? Something like, okay. I return the conversation to its original position. Then Yue's tearful face, which had temporarily subsided, returned to normal again.
ともちゃん。もうどうしよう。
Tomo-chan Modoshiro? What should I do now? Again, this time, she tried to cry at me head on. For now, I pressed my head to stop it from progressing. Or pat her head or something? Like I said, don't cling to me every time.
だって。
Which is, but... Okay. So I have with Shion. You're going to read all of that? I guess the top one. This one doesn't matter for Oh, I haven't read this one before. I haven't done this before. Okay. New text. You're going to read all of that?
はい。う
Yes.
ちにはまだたくさん読みたい本が残ってますから。
There are still a lot of books I want to read at home. She says it like it's the most natural thing in the world, but even the number of in the background is extraordinary. How does your body feel about reading so many books? It's a completely mysterious story. There we go. I think I picked the right answer on all of these. Oh no, pick one of them. Oh, this is a different one than I picked last time. Okay. I shouldn't say anything here. Okay. Study with her? I'll pass. We're going to study with her. That was probably... How do I know what scene I'm on? You could tell that on something like Never Seven, Never on the Infinity series, you know which scene you were on. I don't know what scene I'm on, so I don't know if... No, I'm fine.
なんで？
Why? That's because supplementary classes are almost guaranteed, so there's no need to worry about whether or not they're supplementary classes or not. Looks like she wanted to say something, but the conversation was interrupted by someone who came fluttering over. Okay, so this is probably together with Kaoru. Okay. What's this? I guess it's just my imagination. I don't know if I have any regrets about talking to a Toa-san like this before. I guess it's fine.
そういえば、この町って路面電車がないんだね。
Kind of think of it, this city doesn't have any streetcars. Streetcars?
知らないの？あんなにポピュラーな乗り物なのに。
You don't know, even though it's such a pimpy ride? You mean a stringy... Oh. Let me try to get this into Google Translate and get rid of those extra, like, PB sounds. So it's just... You don't know? It's such a popular vehicle. What's so popular about it? Sure, it might have been obvious in the city where Toa-san was, but this city was being developed at least. Therefore, there was no way such an emotional ride could exist in this city. I don't know, emotional. I think they're talking about like a street train, like a tram kind of trolley kind of thing. I know what it's like, but I've never actually ridden it before.
あ、そうなんだ。
Oh, I see. How does it feel to be riding?
なんて説明したらいいのかな。
How should I explain this? She began to seriously think about the trivial question. No, I wish she'd just say something like this and tell me.
まず、街の見方が変わるかな。
Do you think we can change the way we look at the city first? Change your perspective?
そう。
So. That's right, or I
街
see.
の真ん中に駅があって、そこで人が並んで待ってるのよ。
There's a station in the middle of the city and people are waiting in line there. There's a station in the middle of the city, of the road?
そうだよ。
That's right, okay, station in the middle of the road. Furewa? What's fure? What about the rails?
ちゃんとあるよ。
I have it right here. But I don't think there's any car there.
レールが道路に埋まってるのよ。だから電車が道路を走っているようにも見えるかな。
Oh, it's reu, not furu. Reu, okay. The rails are buried in the ground. That's why it looks like the train is running on the road. Yeah, so it is like a light rail, as we call it in the United States. It's like, okay, what's a streetcar? Oh yeah, like a light rail kind of thing. But yeah, they don't, instead of having like the power conducted in from above, it's below. Then what about the signal? Is there a special signal or something?
私がいた町じゃ、そういう専用のものがあるところじゃなかったけど。
The city I came from didn't have anything special like that, but
一応普通の信号に従って運転はしていたよ。
I was driving at a normal traffic light just in case. Or it stops at traffic light, so it's like a bus. Okay, so it stops at
で
traffic
も
light.
バスとはちょっと違うんだよね。
But it's a little different from a bus. Because there's no driver.
バ
Why?
スは自由に車線変更できるでしょ。でも路面電車はその名の通り、電車である限り埋められたレールの上しか走れないの。
I don't know why I did differently to get this conversation that you get different. This is so it's like conversation about like street cars. Buses can freely change lanes, right? But as the name implies, streetcars can only run on buried rails as long as they're trains, or like they were trains. I feel like it's kind of inconvenient.
そうでもないよ。みんなバス感覚で利用してるから、どっちかと言われたら便利って答える人の方が多いかもね。
That's not true. Everyone uses it like a bus, so maybe a lot of people say it's convenient if you ask them. Hey. What a strange feeling. Getting involved in things I didn't know about like this made me feel so fresh. I tried imagining what Toa-san had said. A streetcar built from my image is sprinting through a city I don't know about. The flow of cars continues around us, and I could see small daggers ahead. Daggers. And then Otoa-san gets on the train. What a picturesque sight. For some reason, she was basking in her self-satisfaction while smiling and agreeing. That sounds good.
何が？
Like, what sounds good? What do you mean? Oh, Shia. Iya, though. It should be Iya, not Shia. The tram. Or the streetcar, or whatever they call it.
やっぱりそう思う？
Do you really think so? Yeah, I'd like to ride something like that just once.
そう？だったら
Really? If you say so. I don't know what's wrong, but Otoa-san cut off there. Cut off here. Okay, Datara, which is, in that case, what happens after that? Doshitano, which is like, what's wrong, yep.
なんでもないよ。
Nothing. With a disgraceful smile on her face, her, what went wrong here? Her eyes grew hazy, probably, right? But okay. I presume it's like her eyes grow hazy. Or something like that. It's not like I'm pursuing it or anything, and I'm just ignoring it. Huh? Okay. Let's read this text. See what it is. I haven't read it before. Actually, maybe, Oh, I'm maybe dating Yue. I'm saying that with a dry laugh. I was hoping to see what kind of face Otama-san would make with this, but...
そうなの？
Really? You've changed so much that I didn't expect it. Oh. I winced a little at her transformation. I hadn't expected her to react like this.
そっか。三上くんのことちょっとは気になってたのに。
I see. I was a little worried about Mikami-kun. Oh, hold on. Those words are starting to sink in. But I held back here too. Really?
うん。残念って感じかな。
Yeah, I guess it's a shame. Oh, God, hang in there. Can you do it? Actually, there's a girl right in front of me who cares about me, so I'm not going to let this opportunity pass by like a lie. I'm going to come clean, but...
ま、三上くんが誰と付き合っていようと関係ないけどね。他人の色恋沙汰に興味ないし。
Well, it doesn't matter who you're dating. I'm not interested in other people's love affairs. Is that right? She says that so bluntly. That's a very fitting word.
ただ、それが自分だったら。
But if it were me, in that case,
さて、どうかな？
well, what do you think? That's what Kaoru says to fool me. This was just like Otawa-san too, or something. If Otawa-san really cares about me, that makes me happy in its own way. I guess it's something that to be genuinely happy about. But what about the truth? I wonder if it's just a random kotawi after all, whatever that means. When I think about that,
ほら、三上くん、手が止まってるよ。
come on, Mikami-kun, your hands are way better than mine. You mean bigger than... Your hands stop mine? I got it. Figure this one out. So this is classic. If you this is a classic mess up from my my Ever 17 Xbox Remake Let's Play, where stop turns into comparison. Look, Mikami-kun, your hands are stuck. There you go. Are your hands stuck? As if she'd already forgotten what had just happened. Otawa-san focuses his attention on me. Well, I guess Otawa-san is really hard to grasp. Okay, I want to pick this one. So this is the book incident, right? Okay, I don't know when this happens in the sequence. Okay, Otawa-san on the roof. Okay, this is either... I'm not going on a date. I'm going on a date. Okay, so I'm gonna... save... This is slot 14. And then, wait, there's a scene name here. Oh, this will help me out. So this is... Ask her out on a date. Re-challenge. The book that was delivered. Okay. Whoops. So quit to menu. Okay. Use the awkwardness here. Oh, it's right there. I'm literally right there. Okay. Let's try to deny the date and see what happens. See if we can get scene 87. Okay. So, B, continue, load 14, yes. Okay. Janai. Date Janai. Let's see if I can get the missing scene. There's something I really want to stop by today. Considering that I'm sorry you went out of your way to invite me. Okay. Gomin. I put my hands together in front of my face.
そう。
So is like, that's right. Her slightly disappointed expression stung my heart painfully. Could you invite me again some other time? I'll make sure I have no plans when that time comes. Kaoru took my words as if she had no other choice and sighed and returned her attention to class. I really did do something bad to Kaoru. I didn't expect her to be this depressed either. Next time you invite me, I'll have to give you a positive response. Okay. Oh, hit the skip. As early as today, we're already here until lunch break. Lately, I've been under the illusion that time has passed quickly. I'm taking classes just in case. I doze off a lot, though. But at this rate, I don't think I'll be able to study as a student.
何拳握りしめて悩んでるの？
Why are you clenching your fists?
ところで、もうお昼は食べてるわけないよね。
By the way, there's no way you're eating lunch anymore, right?
毎日とはいえ、よくもまあ悲しい生活してるよね。
Or you're still eating lunch, right? Or something like that. Even though it's every day, I'm surprised you're living such a sad life. I don't live like this because I want to. In the first place, Dad's transfer alone was the cause of everything, so it was all Dad's fault. So, do you need something from me since I don't have much for lunch?
まあまあ、ぼやかないの。今日は智也のためにちゃんと用意してあげたんだから。
Now, don't grumble. I made sure to prepare it for you today, Tomoya. Okay, so I don't know exactly the pronouns are right on that 2 lines ago, but basically it's something about prepared. It's either you need something from him because he has something else to do. You can have theoretically have something else he could do besides eat lunch because he has no lunch, or do you have something to help me out with? Preparations.
うん。そのために買ってきたんだから。
Yeah, that's why I bought it. Aw. Kaoru was carrying 2 respectable sweet buns and a bottle of milk. Oh, this reminds me of the bread thing. Okay, that's already a different game, but no, it's this game. It's bread. Yes. Isn't it amazing that you are able to obtain such high-quality food on that battlefield?
運が良かったって自分でも思ってる。
Even I think I'm lucky. So, battlefield, I presume, is like the rush to buy lunch from Koyomi. So, are you going to sell this to me?
違うよ。
Move. But that's the wrong kanji, so I don't know what that means. What? My hand, which had been counting the change in my wallet, suddenly stopped. I assumed she'd bought it for someone else, but it didn't seem to be the case. Then whose?
私の。
Mine. Oh, I see. As if I had no other choice, I stood up from my seat.
どこ行くの？
Where are you going? What do you mean, where? Isn't that obvious?
じゃあ、はい。
Okay, then, yes. She rummaged through her bag for some reason. What came out was a boxed lunch?
うん。智也には私のお弁当あげるよ。
Yeah. I'll give Tomoya my lunch. Okay, I don't really understand how this exchange is going, because I thought she bought the buns for Tomoya, but then it's like, so then like this negotiation is happening. I don't know. The pronouns are messing me up, huh? So if you don't want to take the buns because I bought them with my money, I'll give you my own normal lunch and I'll eat the buns. I had no idea what she's talking about. Me neither. She's just bewildering. I am just bewildered on the spot.
だから、智也には私のお弁当あげるから一緒に食べようって言ってるの。
That's why I'm saying I'll give Tomoya my lunch. So let's eat it. With O. What are you trying to do with your... Is that correct? Okay, what does Google Translate have to say about that? It's just, Google Translate just says, what do you mean? That's probably a better translation. In other words, I can eat Kaoru's lunch? Really?
本当に。
Really? Ah!
え？
Eh? What a wonderful friend I have. I've never received such happy charity from anyone before.
そうなの？
Really? Kaoru was a werewolf, worried about her surroundings. Oh, he just blurred that out. Kaoru is wondering about her surroundings. Okay. But I didn't care about that. Ah, you really are the best, Kaoru.
ありがとう。
Thank you. Kaoru seems to be having a bit of a hard time dealing with it, since she's acting more like an overboss than usual. Okay, what does Google Translate have to say? Kaoru seems to be having a bit of a hard time dealing with the action, as it's more over the top than usual. In front of everybody else in the class, still in the classroom, I sit down in front of Kaoru and immediately spread out my lunch, which would be her lunch. A small two-tiered lunchbox emerges from within the sky blue lunch mat. I gotta deal with my oven. And I have dealt with my oven. Okay. I removed the rubber pondo and quickly opened the small lid. Remove the rubber band and gently open the small lid.
どうしたの？
What's wrong? Is it all just natto? Well, it's been a while since I've seen this kind of food, so I couldn't help but cry.
またまた。そんな大げさなこと言っちゃって。
You're exaggerating again. No, I'm really moved. I haven't had lunch like this in a while, so I can't help but be happy. Well then, I'll gratefully accept it.
いいよ。
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so mizu. Ro no. First of all, the way you talk. It's probably white rice with queso boro on it. Puck. Chomp. Combination of white rice and soboro, whatever that is. That's right, I wanted lunch to taste like this.
食べたよね。
You ate it, didn't you? Kaoru asked me how I'm doing when she's moved by my mouth. What? While I was clearly impressed, Kaoru asked me how I was doing. Wait. I chopped off part of that kanji. That's not what happened. Okay. Not asking me what I was doing, right? It's something else. Let me try to get it again. Okay, I don't know. Getting the same kind of thing. Well, I was clearly impressed. She asked me how I was doing or something. That doesn't make sense. Maybe it was the lunch Kaoru made? This really is what a lunch should be like. Or something like that. Shikashi Kaoru wa. Okay, but Kaoru. But, okay.
そう、食べたんだ。
That's right. You ate it. That's right. Eat it! Just eat it! To accidentally get copyright claimed by Weird Al or something. I don't know if he claims things, though. I don't think he does. I don't know. Nico. She smiles as she watches me eat. There's no need to confirm every little thing like that. Yeah, eat that. Eat that, Tomoya. Eat it. Why don't you eat it?
別に。
Not really.
ただ、明日の休みは絶対に付き合ってもらうってことになっただけ。
It's just that I'm gonna make sure you'll accept tomorrow's day off or something. Yes?
だってそのためにお弁当あげたんだから、それだけの恩は感じてよ。
I'm just trying to indent you to me. Let's see here. Because that's why I gave you my lunch, so that you'd feel that much breath. Or that much, it probably shouldn't be breath, it's that much, obligation or something like that. Oh, there's that kanji that got flipped to turn into breath. And it still can't get that kanji right. Anyway, so that you feel whatever that kanji is. Boxed lunch. Could it be I'm being bought off? Well, we'll see what for. Could it be that you're still holding a grudge about yesterday?
もちろん。
Of course! Of course. But after what happened yesterday...
昨日は昨日。今日とは違うんだから悪くないと思うけど。
Okay, yesterday was yesterday. Yesterday was yesterday. It's different from today. So I don't think it's that bad or something.
で、明日はどうなの？
So, what about tomorrow? No, it's not like I have any plans.
じゃあ決定。いいよね。
Then it's decided, okay? Ah. This is way too one-sided. Right, you're being, like, aggressively courted by a girl. All I could do is follow Kaoru's orders. It's like, I wish that would happen to me. But instead, I'm just ignored. Well, I turned her down yesterday, so I guess I don't really mind. So where are you planning to go?
暗くて静かでムードのあるところ。
So, somewhere dark, quiet, and moody. Dark, quiet, and moody. What's that supposed to mean? I was lost in thought. A very dark library.
ともや、真面目に考えてるよね。
Something about beginning. Tomoya, are you thinking seriously, aren't you? Gikwa, whatever that expression of like, oh no. Kaoru is peering into my face with a forgiving expression. Or unforgiving. Those eyes look like they see right through me. Of course.
映画館だからね。
Because it's the movie theater, okay? It's the movie theater, Tomoya. Kaoru takes out 2 tickets and shows them to me. I knew it. It was just as I expected. And so, after receiving the favor of good food, I ended up obeying Kaoru. Okay. Third. So okay, so this is the movie theater on the day off. This leads to a bad end, right? Yeah, this plugs right into the bad end.
これから
Okay. So let's go to the clear list. M&A. What does M&A mean? Okay, I gotta Google this, maybe get an Urban Dictionary into or something. Meaning of M and A. Mergers and acquisitions. I don't know if that's what this is, but okay. I gotta deal with my oven again. Okay, I'm back. So 87 is a scene on the Kaoru route I had missing, but I presume it had to do with that whole lunchbox thing. But because you don't go on that date that night, where you can actually get the date that's on the actual school day, where she sees the movie that her old lover worked on, it goes to date on day off, kind of like if you just go home. It leads to the Ayaka ending, right? So that's what you do, but that's the scene I was missing. So we have, okay, all the way back from there. Whoops. We have 76. So what's this? What's 77? Makeup exam confirmed. Remedial makeup exam. On the day of the remedial exam. So what's this? View of the sea. Kaoru's profile. Okay. Final day of the test. Missing a scene here. Okay, let me go to my saves. What's this save? I have to take the OCR to OBS to get this to work. Okay, put it back on. Kaoru's side story, or Kaoru's profile. Okay. Let's load in that one, number 5. Okay, let's skip. Okay, what did I choose here? I'll tell you. I won't tell you. So okay, let me try. I'll tell you first. That keeps skipping. Okay. It's probably just a big cat. Okay, skip some things. Yue smiles, her voice trembling as if she couldn't contain her racing heart. By the way, why are you so interested in this big cat?
だってこんなにプニプニなんだもん。
Because it's so squishy and squishy. Saying that, Yue smiles and gently wraps her hands around the big cat's head. Squishy, squishy. In other words, is this what you mean when you say that squishy, squishy feeling tugged at your heartstrings?
プニプニ。
Squish, squish. My words were left and right. Yue laughs with the palm of her hand, stretching and shrinking the face of the big cat as she plays. Is it that rare for it to be so soft and squishy? If you look around, you'll find not only squishy, but fat people lying around all over the place. Oh my goodness. I like that line. That may not be a good translation, but I like whatever came out of the translation. Why do you call it big cat ni nekopyon in the first place?
だからデブ猫じゃないってこの子は。
Like I said, she's not a big cat. I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. I think this is... Oh, this is what I did not read the first time. Okay. More new text. I seriously don't get it. What I have to teach Minamo-chan today is classical literature, not Chinese. Still, if you spit out a spirit sound here, a man will slack off. I summoned all the knowledge I had been building up to this point and butted it on trying to decipher that difficult code somehow. Yeah, that's right. Just like Sekihido, isn't it? Let's see. Let me see it. While keeping my composure, I puffed up the textbook from Yurei's hand. Or I grabbed it or something. I'm getting more and more confused. The so-called excessive change of heart, isn't it? In other words, it's like this. Listen carefully. The sun's been going on for too long and the rain has stopped, so I ran too far to look for a change, or maybe my stomach was about to explode. It's sad, Chinese-style book that laments the drought.
それって全然違うと思うけど。
I don't think that's quite right. I was just joking. The truth is... There are too many children in Japan, so if I don't change it now, I won't be able to resist the urge to get too familiar with my stomach. I have no idea what's going on here. That's kind of exaggerated sentence that was made fun of the declining birth rate problem.
あの講師が
The Confucius's... Oh, children.
日本の少子化問題の
Japan's declining birth rate problem? I don't know.
じゃあ本当は全くわからないんじゃない
The problem with the Uchikoshi stuff is it's hard to figure out what it's saying if you don't... He writes such weird things. And he probably wrote this dialogue with this character. Wait, Tomo-chan, you don't really understand at all, do you? She looks at me as if she's looking at something shady.
そんなんじゃみなもちゃんに勉強を教えるどころか逆に教えてもらうことになっちゃうよきっと
At this rate, you won't be able to teach Minamo-chan how to study, but you'll become a crab that'll be taught by her instead. I'm sure it will be, instead, Kito. Whatever that means. Surely. But today I'm going to teach classical literature, and it's not like I'm going to teach you Chinese, so there's no problem.
でもともちゃんのテストの方は
But what about Tomo-chan's test? Yeah, that's right. Could that be part of the test? Yoi smiles silently as she wandered around.
本当にまずいってばともちゃん。こんな小的な問題も解けないようじゃ追試はもう決まったようなもんだよ。
It's really bad, Tomo-chan. If you can't solve these basic problems, then the makeup exams are already decided. But if you're going to say that, what about you?
し曰くすなわちで改めたこれを過ちと
According to the child, it is a mistake that will not be changed. This is called a mistake.
先生はおっしゃった間違いを犯してこれを改めないこれが本当の間違いだ
Sensei told me, I won't change this by intervening. This is the real question, or the real problem is you. Kid? I'm at a disadvantage. Makeup exams. But makeup exams are nothing to me. There's nothing to be afraid of. Whoops. I skipped a non-day. I won't answer.
サボるの
Saboro no. Which is... I can type it in. Saboro no. Give me kana. Sa. Bo. Ro no. It's how I think it's slacking off. Are you slacking off?
うわーなんでそんな堂々と言えちゃうんだろう追試行かなかったらとんでもないことになるんだからね
Why are you saying that so openly? If you don't take the makeup exam, you'll be in big trouble, you know. I see. I don't seem to be apologizing or anything, so I pretend to be unconcerned.
ああかわいそうなともちゃん城ヶ崎先生に駆られちゃうんだ
Poor Tomo-chan. Jogasaki Sensei's going to reap it. What? Jogasaki? Her words made me yearn for war. Jogasaki, huh? Jogasaki was a gym teacher in her 30s called Hibagon, who was the head of the lifestyle guidance at Sumiko High School. Well, Hibagon is a common name. Height, 190 centimeters. Weight, 105 kilograms. Which is about 231 pounds. Head of hair, Buchi Bomb. Head of hair, Ponchi Pamu. Accessories, human-type sunglasses. Items, portable electric Barikun? I don't know what that is. Barikun. He boasted the most intimidating appearance of the century. He's also famous not only for his appearance, but also his quick work. If you want to try to resist him, you should be prepared to lose 2 or 3 molars. Anyway, it's Jogasaki guy is an unbelievable demon teacher. What about Jogasaki? I asked, aiming for the wolf, whatever that means. You skipped the makeup exams and said you cut the whole thing. That's what he said, right? So if you skip your makeup exams, he'll cut the whole thing. Whatever that means. That's what he said, right? Let me see what Google Translate says there. If you skip the makeup exam, you'll get a shaved head. Is that what he said? Round reaping? Okay, I get it. So reap is shave. So if you skip the makeup exams, whatever, this guy's gonna shave you. Bald shaving? In this day and age, bald shaving, that bastard, is there a limit to his abuse of authority? That might be going too far. Of course, if you're gonna do that, what if he can? What if he's gonna do that? What if he can? That, Hibagone, whatever a Hibagone is. Hibagone? Hey, Yue. What was the reason for that pickled vegetable just now? Okay, what does Google Translate have to say? What was the translation of the pickle sentence earlier? I asked snowily. I'm glad you're willing to study. Okay. What are these? Excuse me. I'll sleep. I'll play. What do play? Wait. What? I didn't pick this one? What should you do when you have too much free time? It's always been decided to play. Or hang out or something. I slowly pull out an eraser and ballpoint pen from my pencil case. Then I try flicking the eraser with the ballpoint pen. With that, the eraser slides along nicely. Okay. Next, I place notebooks, textbooks on the desk to make a special course. The rules are extremely simple. All I had to do was deflect the eraser with my ballpoint pen and carry it to the goal. Honestly, it's just a few people, but I'm the only one here right now, so it's called a score attack, or whatever he calls it. Alright, let's get started. I place the eraser on the course and flick it with my ballpoint pen. The eraser that hit the textbook that served as the wall of the course bounced back a little and stopped. This time I'll play it at this angle and attack that curve. Pachin, which I guess is like success. Alright. Pachin. Oh, I went too far. Pachin, which is the flick sound. Whoa. Pachin. This is the goal. Pachin. 6 times, huh? I should be able to shrink it a little. I looked at the clock. There's still plenty of time before class. I decided to take on a second challenge. This time I'll play harder than before and make it to the corner in one go. Pachin! The eraser I deflected with my ballpoint pen is tracing the path I thought it would take, but it's faster than I expected. Cone. It overshoots. Pew. The eraser crashed into the notebook with such force the recoil caused it to leave the course and fall off the desk. Cotton. It fell. I stooped down to pick up the fallen eraser. That was the moment. Crunch. A dull pain ran through my head, sending my sparks flying. Ikai. Which is like pain or something. Suddenly looked up. Otawa-san's face was right in front of me. Right in front of me? Wait, what? Clatter, clatter. I allowed an undescribable cry of surprise at Otawa-san, who had been so close to me and slipped spectacularly out of my seat. The English teacher glared coldly at my sudden strange behavior. What are you doing? No, not really, Otawa-san giggled a little at the sight of me like that. Yeah, everyone's staring at me like I'm in pain. Wait, I feel like it's the same thing as before.
Mikami-kun? Hi, keshigomu.
Mikami-kun, here's your eraser. Yes, Otawa-san handed me the eraser I dropped. Oh, thanks.
さっきは痛かったんだからね。
Jeez, it hurt just now. Apparently, she hit her head when she tried to pick up my eraser.
ねえ、それより遊んでても平気なの？
Or
みんな必死で黒板写してるけど。
Or when he tried to pick up his eraser, they don't both try to do it at the same time, and they bashed heads. Hey, more importantly, are you okay with playing? Everyone's doing their best to copy the blackboard. Don't worry, I'll have Yue copy it later.
Imasaka-san ni?
I'll copy it from Yue later. Imasaka-san? From Imasaka-san, yeah.
え、だって、Imasaka-san寝てるよ。
But Imasaka-san, you're so calm. Or something else, not calm. Nani? I look at Yue's seat diagonally ahead. Oh, she's dismissed, she's absent. There was Yue sleeping with a comfortable expression on her face. Oh, okay, so Imasaka-san is sleeping. I can almost hear her breathing peacefully as she sleeps. She's sound asleep. It's over. I'm sure Yue smiled. I'm sure Yue something this morning, so she didn't move to sleep because she thought I was copying her. Or she thought she could sleep because she thinks she could copy me. Or
ね
something
え
like
三上
that.
くん、ノート見せてあげようか。
Hey, Mikami-kun. Want me to show you the notebook? Eh?
だからノート写させてあげるって言ってるんだけど、いらない？
That's why I'm saying I'll let you copy my notes, but do you need to? I wonder if this is a boat to cross. Okay, let's Google Translate. That's what I have to say about that. Is this called a boat for crossing? So, like, something that, like, bails you out, right? I get the idea. I do. I need it. Please lend it to me.
それじゃあとりあえずこれだけ渡すね。
Well then, I'll give you this for now. She removes the pages from the binder and lends them to me.
あとのも写し終わったらそっちに回すから。
She has a binder, she can do that. She doesn't have to rip them out because it's a binder. I'll send you the rest once I'm done copying. Thanks. I simply thanked her for the plan and started copying down the notes. Phew, I managed to finish the copying. I guess I'll go to the school store. It's warm, so on the roof. Let's see here. Go for the schoolyard. Yes. Gripping the paper bag containing the precious bread, I made my way outside. The weather's really nice. It's kind of a waste to go out of my way to hole up in a room on a day like this. Why don't the others take a quick look outside too? Well, Kaoru's on the roof. Well, whatever, let's enjoy my time alone for now. Or so I thought, but... It seemed there was someone ahead of me on the schoolyard on the bench in the schoolyard. Hello?
こんにちは。
Hello. There, Futami-san was sitting on the bench, poking at her lunch as she flipped through the thick bunin. What does Google Translate have to say? Bunan book. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to save in a slot. What is the scene name? Okay, let me quit. Memories. Clear list. Okay, I'm going to be more dramatic here. So, B, continue, load, whoops, snipping tool. This is kind of cheating, but New Snippy. Okay. Now, go back to my Switch. Let's do... Where does this show up on the list? Now I know what, like, the kanji are and stuff. Maybe I didn't complete the scene, so it doesn't show up yet because it's not completed yet. So the first kanji there. Oh, that's number 41. Looking for 76. Huh, that's weird. I'm gonna keep going and see when I get through the scene what happens. It's a bizarre title. It's bizarre where it's placed in the sequence. I guess it's because you have to go to the schoolyard to get it, and I haven't gone to the schoolyard yet in my playthrough or something. Let's leave that save file there. That one's important. Do that. I thought I was gonna do Minamo next. That's like the next scene I was going to do. Not Minamo next. Sorry, I was gonna do Koyomi next. Not Shion next. But I might do Shion next if this leads into something Shion related. Let's see here. Continue. Whoops, nope. Didn't want to do that. Continue. Load. Loading this, right? Okay, let's try denying Minamo. Okay. And then see what this does for me. See if this gives me like the scene I was missing. Oops, okay, translate. Ancient literature, huh? Ah, that's difficult. I couldn't help but stammer.
ともちゃんは現代文のが得意なんだよね。
Tomo-chan, you're better at modern literature. Yeah. I almost got caught up in the pace of Yue's laughter.
そうだそうだ。みなもちゃん、私が教えてあげるよ。
That's right, Minamo-chan, I'll teach you.
でも、悪いよ。
But bad.
いいっていいって。
No, it's fine, it's fine. She's just laughing more and more. National conspiracy. No, it's hiss. More and more Yue hisses or whatever. Were you good at classical literature?
まあそこそこだったかな。 だってともちゃん現代文の方が得意でしょ？
Supposed to be more like ancient literature, right? Not classical literature. Like to an English speaker, that makes it sound like Greek and Roman literature, right? Not like traditional literature. Well, I guess that's about it. After all, Tomo-chan, you're better at modern or contemporary literature. Minamo-chan stretches her back and looks outside. Yue held her tongue as well. Neither of them look at me. I let out a sigh. That seems to have been the end of it. Minamo-chan quietly opens her mouth, her face a little pale.
私、先生のところに行ってわからないところを聞いてきます。それから図書館に行ってこようかな。やっぱり一人で勉強します。
Okay, Minamo says, I'll go to the teacher and ask him what I don't understand. Also, maybe I'll go to the library. I'll study by myself after all.
みなもちゃんやっぱり偉いよ。
Minamo-chan, you really are great.
そうだよね。
Yeah, that's right.
私も帰って勉強でもしよっかな。他にすることもないし。
Maybe I should go home and study too. I don't have anything else to do.
だったら美術部に入ってくれたらいいのに。
In that case, why don't you join the art club?
でもほらゆえ絵下手だから。
Yeah, but look, Yue is bad at drawing.
そんなことないと思うんだけどな。
Hope that's not the case. Well, I hope you're not bad at drawing. I don't even know if I'm here or not anymore. I'm completely at the pace of these two women. All I could do was smile as they talked about their innocence. If there's anything you don't understand, ask me. That was the best I could
あり
do.
がとうございます。
Thank you very much. Minamo-chan waves to Yue and me as she says that they then trot off toward the library. Is it that simple? I should have told your... Minamo-chan must have worked up the courage to come to me. That thought popped into my head and made me sad.
どうしたのともちゃん。
What's wrong, Tomo-chan? No, I just thought maybe I should have told her after all.
へえ。
Or accepted
やっ
her.
ぱりともちゃんって優しいんだね。
Wow, Tomo-chan really is kind. But I didn't, though. Is that
そう
so?
だと思うよ。ほら、早く帰ろう。
Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's see if that leads to something here. Okay, I have Nini Nekopyon.
ともちゃんってさ、国語得意だったよね。
Oh, no, I have an alternate version of this. Tomo-chan, you're good at Japanese, right? Well, yeah. I was once called the Walking Sasoke Natsume.
そういや、漱石は歩くってば。
Of course, Soseki walks. Walking Soseki. You're always acting like that. Well, whatever. So, do you have any questions?
あのね、わからないところがあるんだけど。
Yeah, you know, there's something I don't understand. Yuto groped around in her... Yue groped around in her bag and pulled out a textbook. Going through the pages, she eventually points to a certain spot and asks,
ここ、これってどういう意味なのかな？
I wonder, what does this mean? Mumumu. I couldn't believe my eyes. Kojitsu Kaiji. It's Chinese. Something in Chinese. I don't know. I can't read it. It's Chinese. It's all kanji, which basically means it's Chinese. This is what Yue's fingertip indicated. I think this is... And you can say you know it, right? I don't know. Or... seriously, I don't know. Let's try this. I don't know, but I let out a brave sound here. A man will slack off. Oh. If I let out a brave sound here, a man will slack off, or something like that. I summoned all the knowledge I had accumulated up until now and butted on trying to decipher that difficult code somehow. Yeah, that's right. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Let's see. Show me. Now I take a closer look. There are two things I happened to hear in class a long time ago. Actually, they're exactly the same. Now I understand a little. The so-called excessive change of heart, isn't it? In other words, it's like this. Listen carefully. She looks at me as if she's looking at something shady. According to the child, it is a mistake that will not be changed. This is called a mistake. That's amazing. It's true strength. I don't know what that means. I didn't tell her what I mean by that, but Yue doesn't seem to have realized that much. Well, if you ask me that much, I won't be able to tell either, so it'd be better if she didn't notice. Okay, so we have sleep or play. I'll try play again. Oh, just skip. Skip. So let's actually do roof this time. Okay. Home remains as usual. Well, I guess I'll go home. I greeted Sheen and Notawa, then headed straight into the hallway. I rummaged through my pants pocket as I passed through the entrance to the shoe locker. Or...
何してんの?
What are you doing? Her gaze rises and falls, and Yue laughs in wonder. Answering only that, she pulls out a piece of balloon gum from her pocket. Like, okay, so like bubble gum. I checked that there are two more left in the sloppy wrapping paper. I pop one into my mouth.
学校で食べちゃいけないんだよ。
You can't eat at school. I guess he has gum in his pocket. It's fine, it's fine. I mean, just a little more. It's off campus, isn't it? What? Crackle, crackle.
なんてね。ゆえはそんなにいい子じゃないもん。ってことだから、一個ちょうだい。
Just kidding. Yue isn't such a good girl. So, can I have one? Okay, so it's not Yue, it's Tomoya who has the gum. Just, okay. Yue smiled and held out her palm. Jeez, there's no helping it. Saying that, I stretched out the chewed gum in my mouth with my fingertip and cut it in half.
いらない。
I don't need it. What? Didn't you say you wanted it?
一個って言ったの。
I said one. Yeah, one.
だからって口の中のやつと合体させてっていうボケはなしで。
That doesn't mean I'm going to merge with one in my mouth. Don't be stupid. let's see what Google Translate has better, a better rendering it. Just because you have to combine it with the one in your mouth. Something about what he did. Cheats. I awkwardly tried to hand over the gum. The, one gum. But the moment I try to put it in the palm of Yui's hand, for some reason it swings through the air. When I look, Yui's laugh is running several meters ahead of me. Yui's running several meters ahead of me. It was the rear sister who clearly felt like she was discovering something and running over. This is the exact same as yesterday, which means the cat. So this is what it means. Ja Nini Neko Pyon. Won't let me skip this for some reason. She's just as full of herself as she was yesterday. She was clearly playing with the face of well, what's Google Translate have to say? She's already playing with the face and having fun trying to name it. Or she already named it. Hey, what are you going to do with the gum? Don't you need it? I opened my clenched palms. On top of that was a slightly sweaty one piece of bubble gum. Punny punny. You're ignoring me again. I see. You don't need it, do you?
Punny punny.
Another punny punny. Guess I have no choice. Then how about you eat it? I asked Nini Nekopyon, who was being toyed with comfortably. Meow. I see. You really know your manners, don't you? It's the bare minimum manners of a Japanese cat to accept something offered to you without rejecting it. Saying that, I opened the wrapper and took out its contents. Hore. It's come on. Okay. I brought it to Nini Nekopyon's mouth. Then she braced her front paws and shook her head haphazardly. Looks like she's happy. UAV silent. Come on. Just don't hold back and eat it. Wait, what are you giving her? Gum. You can't give her that. It's your fault for not eating it, isn't it?
そういう問題じゃないってば。別にゆえが食べたいから言ってるわけじゃないの。猫はガム食べないの。特に妊娠中のこの子にそんなものあげないでほしいの。
That's not the problem here. I'm not saying this because I want to eat it. Cats don't eat gum, especially when this girl is pregnant. I don't want you to give her something like that.
わかった？
Got it? Like, annoyingly serious. But you eat squid, don't you?
イカとガムは全然別次元の食べ物でしょ？
Ika, or I guess whatever, if that's squid, and gum are a completely different level, aren't they? it won't, like, OCR that for some reason. They put it in Google Translate. Really? But the old man in the countryside takes a lot of time to eat squid, knocking it out like it's chewing gum.
それは
So,
歯が
gum's
な
a
い
squid.
だけだってば。
That's just because there's no answer. Okay, I have to choose here. I still object. I give up on my rebuttal. I still object. What the hell? I feel sorry for you when you're so happy.
嫌がってるの。
I don't want to. Huh? So that's it? I didn't realize this was an expression of rejection. I never had a cat before.
ねえ、そう、いじめられちゃったんですか？まあ、かわいそうですね。
It was a cat's expression of rejection. Oh, come on, OCR. Come on, computer, work. Oh, really? You got rejected? You got bullied? So why not? Well, you're so cute. Something like that. She used to be talking to Cat. Yue, who has suddenly changed into her childish words, hugs the cat in her... The cat as we speak. She rubbed his head, moaned, tickled her throat, and continued to caress restlessly.
よしよし。
All right, all right. Yoshi, Yoshi, ka. All right, good, good, huh? It's just love, like her own child. The cat is also happily closing its eyes. The Nin cat. Having been abandoned by one person, it throws the rest of the gum into... I throw the rest of the gum into my mouth to distract myself. And then a gust of north wind dances through the air. The cat's body, the Nin cat's body, the Nin neko cat's body, hair swayed like ripples, and she shrank back from the cold. And as if sensing this, Yue spun her body around and turned her back to the wind. Yue's reaction was natural, as if it were flowing, and although it had been taken unconsciously, it looked like... Okay. So Google Translate can do with that. It seemed like it had been taken unconsciously. It looked fluid and natural. Okay.
よしよし。よしよし。もう大丈夫ですからね。
There. Oh, it's all right now.
大丈夫ですよ。よしよし。
It's all right. There. Fine now. Suddenly, for some reason, my heart beats faster. My heart is beating like crazy. The back of my eyes throbbed along with my blood flow. The heat welled up from inside my body. What is this feeling? The feeling of ending up in the UA route is what this feeling is. My whole body is ripe as a flame, but my heart is perfectly calm. Oh, even being scared is painful, but I feel a very satisfied feeling. Why, I'm fine now. Or you're fine now. Yue smiled. You're fine now. Holding a cat to her chest. Or I'm fine now, or you're fine now. Hugged her and said that. Oh, we're going to flashback. You're fine now. It's okay, don't cry. After giving in to Yue's smile for a while, Nini Nekopyon suddenly jumped off her knees as if she'd just thought of something. Then, shaking her swollen cowardice, her big body, her big swollen body, she wriggled away. I turned around on my way home. Meow. Or so she said, leaving the wrong kanji behind. I don't know if those words are directed at me or at Yue. Of course, even if I knew that, I had no way of knowing what it meant.
きっと変な男から守ってくれてありがとうって言ったんだと思うよ。
I'm sure she said thank you for protecting me from that scary man. Yui puffed out her chest proudly. I see. I want her to eat gum. Isn't that what you're complaining about? I replied in frustration.
そうだ、さっきのガムちょうだい。
Oh, that's right. Can I have that gum? Yui stretched out her arms and held out her palms. I didn't answer her question. I simply put the gum in my mouth. I put the gum in my mouth as a giant balloon to show her.
ああ、ひょっとして食べちゃったんでしょう。
Ah, did you eat it by any chance? At that moment, boom. The balloon shatters with a sound like it's full. Sticky objects clung to my entire face. Who's there? Who's chewing gum at school? Crap. As if repelled by her voice, or his voice, I dashed toward the school gate. Of course, I'm still wearing my face bag.
Ah, ちょっと待てよ。来週のテスト、お前どうするんだ？
Wait a minute, what are you going to do about next week's test? What do you mean, what do I do? Just as it is.
あるがままって。相変わらずすごいな、それ。
That's amazing as ever. I mean, it's pointless to study now.
分かってないな。中間テストなんかさ、出るとこ決まってんだから、そこだけ覚えればいいじゃないか。
I don't get it. It's obvious that you'll be taking midterms, so why don't you be proud of that? Or, that's true, but I don't know where it'll come from.
俺も知らん。
I don't know either. This doesn't make any sense. I'm just trying to skip through this dialogue quickly because I don't care about it. You can't do that.
そこでだ。これから図書室で共同戦線を張らないかという。
That's where we're going. Why don't we have a united front in the library from now on? Even if two idiots get together, I think there'll only be two idiots. Oh, 2.5 2.5 idiots.
2.5 バカってなんだ？
What's a 2.5 idiot? It's a new unit. They just got ISO the other day. One idiot in your academic ability. One idiot is your academic ability.
ISO? なんだそれ？
ISO? Is that the Controlled Unclassified Information Registry? What is ISO? What's that supposed to mean? It's a trio of techno units. They used to be amazing. Oh.
へえ、よく知ってるな。
You sure know a lot. Well, it's something I'll never have anything to do with you, so there's no need to tell me.
わかったよ。で、図書室に行くのか行かないのか？
Okay, so are you going to the library or not? Studying with him is a waste of time, but... Well, whatever, I'll go with you.
じゃあ、1時に住空駅前でいいな。遅刻すんなよな。
Okay, I'll meet you in front of the station at 1 o'clock. Don't be late, okay? Okay.
じゃあな。
See ya. I put the receiver down. I look at the clock. It's already past midnight. Or noon. What the hell? We don't have much time. I hastily stuffed my study materials into my bag and left the house. It looks like Sheen hasn't arrived yet. The time was 1:02. What the hell? You're even slower than me. You didn't come out in a hurry. After 10 minutes after 1 o'clock, Sheen finally
おう、
appeared.
ともや。早かったな。
Tomoya, that was fast. Don't say that. That was fast. Tell people not to be late.
まあまあ、10分は誤差範囲だろ？
Oh, 10 minutes is in the margin of error, isn't it? Well, that's true. Okay, let's go. We headed to the school library. School library is open even on holidays. The other students are silently studying in the room, probably thinking the same thing as us.
おい、あそこにしようぜ。
Unless they have study rooms. Then they... Hey, let's go over there. We land on an empty table with the sun shining down on us by the window. There's always been a rule that says studying for tests outside of home and classrooms is the library. That's what's going on here. If you're looking for a quiet place, there should be other places like that. I'm trying to think of a good thing about the library. First, the air conditioning. Books are surprisingly delicate things. They can't get, and you can't let them get too humid or too low to last too long, or something like that. The temperature is similar, and not only could it damage the books, but the people working inside the library would be uncomfortable too. In other words, when it comes to air conditioning, it's very easy to stay in. All that's left is to expect a new encounter. The library itself belongs to the school, but it's open to the general public only on holidays. Kind of like a university library. Okay, in other words, the students at our school aren't the only ones using it. She was a beautiful girl and continued to study in silence. The eraser next to me rolls over and lands at her feet. Oh, I'm sorry, she said as she dived under the desk, but when she tried to pick up the eraser, she ended up with a konnichiwa under the desk too.
おい、何ぼんやりしてんだ？
I guess like greeting under the desk. Hey, why are you spacing out? She's right next to me. I'll come alone next time. We started setting at random. Sheen took the printout he'd received at school out of a loose leaf binder. Binder. How do you spell it out? The number of holes is overwhelmingly insufficient. 2? How'd you make a hole in that?
これか？これはな、普通の紙もルーズリーフのようにしてしまう文明の利器があるのだよ。
Huh? Is it this it? There's a convenience of civilization that makes even normal paper look like loose leaves. So he just puts like paper in his binder and he doesn't hole punch it. With that said, Nobu took out a long ruler-like object from his bag and a small bag punch. There are a few indentations on the ruler, and there are protrusions on the punch that match them. The ruler seems to be several times longer than the punch. Let me borrow it for a bit. I took the punch from Sheen's hand and tried using it to punch holes. Punching. 6 holes opened up at the edge of the notebook. That's right, if I put the protrusion together and parroted them a few times, I'd be able to make a hole from top to bottom completely and evenly. I'm not necessarily getting the exact words, but again, he's punching holes. I was a little moved.
すっげえだろそれ。これがあれば何でもファイルできるんだぜ。
That's amazing. With this, I can file anything. Amazing. Where do they sell these?
ん？商店街の文房具屋で見つけたんだ。
Oh, I found it at the stationery store in the shopping district. I'll go buy it later.
さて、俺はそろそろ帰るぜ。お前はどうすんだ？
Well, it's about time to go home. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going home also. We leave the library.
じゃあ、俺はここで。お前はあれ買いに行くんだろ？
Well, I'll stay here. You're going to go buy that, right? How'd you know?
いや、ほら、なんか物欲しそうな顔してたからな。
Shut up. You look like you wanted something. So you wanted it. Did I make a face like that?
ああ、バッチリと。
Perfectly. Now I'll have to be more careful. I'll have to be more careful from now on.
俺は帰るからな。じゃあな。
Well, I'm going home. See you later. See you tomorrow.
おう。
Oh. After seeing Sheen off, I headed back to the shopping district. Their stationery store? I regretted asking where the store was, but since it wasn't that big of a shopping district, I found the shop I was looking for about 10 minutes of after about 10 minutes of walking. Here, huh? Come to think of it, I've never been here before. If you're going to buy stationery normally, you'd have to do it at a convenience store. Or I would normally go to a convenience store to buy stationery. Now that I had what I was looking for at the stationery store, I decided to look around the shopping district. It's only 6 o'clock, but it's already pitch black. From now on, the days would probably be shorter little by little. On one hand, I'm lonely, but on the other, I'm happy to be able to feel the transition of the seasons, I think. Yeah, the changing seasons. Whew. Like a shiver. I got what I was looking for today. I felt kind of good. I get on the train that slipped into the platform and head home. Okay. So then you get this. And then I'm going to actually save this particular screen. That kind of distracted me from what I was trying to do. Like, I was just trying to find that scene I was missing, and I got into some seemingly very strange route that's like none of the girls. So I'm gonna start investigating this and see where it goes. Oh, I hit load. Save. Okay. Now what did I pick? So I don't have to like Curry. Yeah, I picked that. Okay. Homeroom ended. Our homeroom teacher left the classroom. Finally, our homeroom teacher. There's only a little left until the test. Everyone, don't let your guard down until the end and do your best. With that, the homeroom ended. Tests, huh? I studied with Sheen a little yesterday, but I don't think that's enough. Okay, and then I'll save here. So this is the branch point. Okay, it's I'm gonna go off that in the next recording potentially. Let's quit. Yes. And like deny Karu, right? And when I do that, I'm going to end up keeping my promise with Koyomi directly, and that's going to get me into the Koyomi route, hopefully. But let's see if I got that scene. $76 I was trying to get. Let's see here. Makeup exam confirmed. And this is view of the sea. So makeup exam has not happened yet. Okay. Okay, so this one.
この際わがままは言わないからね。
Don't be selfish at this point, okay? I encourage you to do your best. Okay. You should ask. Sheen, after all, I don't even choose the supplementary course or whatever. Makeup
そん
test.
な転校して何もわからない人を放っておくの？
No way. Are you going to leave someone you don't understand alone after transferring? I don't understand math at the same level as someone who doesn't understand any. It's the same level as someone who doesn't understand anything. Before the test, the teacher in charge of the presentation will teach you the points you need to pass the test. I don't think you need to worry so much about it.
うん。そう言ってくれると嬉しいんだけどね。
Yeah, happy to hear you say that. Don't worry, if you fail, I'll take supplementary lessons with you.
それじゃあ、そうしてもらおうかな。
Well then, why don't you do that? I think we'll all be together anyway.
じゃあ、その時はよろしくね。
Well, I'll be counting on you when the time comes. The atmosphere is much calmer than before, as if my jokes got through to her. Still, if I don't study seriously too, it'll really be just like I told Otawa-san. I think I'll study a little more seriously this time. With that thought in mind, Otawa and I left the roof together. Okay. Still not skippable. I'm starting to doubt where I am in the timeline. Okay, I'm back. So what I was saying was, I'm confused to where I am here. I'm not sure if I'm actually before the makeup exams, after the original midterm exams, or I'm actually before the midterm exams. So this is really strange. I didn't keep track of my timeline well enough. Curitz Ray. Something like having to do with erasing the whiteboard or something. The students scattered in twos and threes, those heading for club activities, those heading for leaving the school, and those heading to the staff room. I guess 3 groups, maybe? Let's see here. Let's see what Google Translate has to say. Google Translate says 3s and 5s instead of 2s and 3s. I think it should be 3 groups, right? They scattered in 3 groups. Those leaving, those going to clubs, and those going to the office. Whoops, I had an appointment with Sayumi-san. I gotten used to helping out just yesterday. I'm just sorting out the invoices. If I want, it's okay to get a job like this. Normally students weren't allowed to go in and out of the school store, but there weren't any teachers who cared about that. And thanks to Sayumi-san's support, for some reason, I was still helping out. Why am I even here anyway? Let's clean up this pile of invoices for now.
お、頑張ってるな、少年。
Oh, Oh, you're working hard, young man. As soon as Sayumi-san came back from somewhere, she called out to me. Young boy, young man, you aren't much older, are you?
まあまあ、私の方がお姉さんじゃない。
Now, I'm the older sister here. Well, that's true, but, Auntie, are you still not feeling, the older lunch lady is still not feeling well? My skip wasn't on. Okay, so that happens. So, what's the title? So she's talking about a movie she wants to see, right? What type is it? Let's start with what's the title? That's not what I chose last time. Great, now I have new dialogue. What's the title?
タイトル？
Title? So, the title da?
ひまわり組のお皿洗い。
The Himawari Group's dishwashing. What's that supposed to mean? Judging by the title, it looks like she's exhausted. But I can more or less guess about the title. It's probably a bit of a metaphoric, child-oriented story. That's about it, right?
じゃないと思うよ。だってサブタイトルが「ひもたま母ちゃん100日奮闘記」だもん。
I don't think it's a fairy tale. After all, the subtitle is Ro Tamano-chan's 100 Days of Fighting. What kind of subtitle is that? I'm a little worried about how to tie it to the title. Okay. What? Was I skipping? Or not skipping? With this, the midterm classes are over. As I said before, you're allowed to bring your own notebooks during the exams. So they're open notebooks. Oh, this is the teacher. Well, it's a leech that says anyone can get a perfect score as long as they take notes on the contents of the class. Or it's a given. Of course, I won't allow you to copy anything and stick it in your notebook. As soon as the teacher left, the classroom immediately became noisy. Moss was bad. I picked up the world history textbook on my desk, trembling. I flipped through the pages. Flip, 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 flip. Let's try to get just the text here. This guy walking around. Ooh. Currently, no other forms have been confirmed. In other words, it's almost completely blank. This is bad. This is too bad. It's true that the Para Para manga was a wonderful work of art, but it was impossible to imagine that bringing this in would solve the world history problem smoothly. I have to come up with an effective countermeasure. Well, it's a countermeasure, but in this case, there's only one way to do it. procedure is as follows. Borrow a notebook from someone. Transcribe it. As for the second, it's easy to carry out as long as there's time. The biggest problem is one. Who should I borrow the notebook from? Thinking that, I looked around. I lost all my friends. As a quick glance, there were 4 potential targets. Tawa-san, Otomi-san, Satoru, and Yue. Wait. Is the guy I've been calling Shin, is his name actually been Satoru the entire time? Is that how you pronounce that? It's Satoru. No, because he got the wrong kanji in the OCR, so no. Now I know what the kanji for Satoru looks like. Okay. Well, Yuri is the last bastion. Yui is the last bastion. Let's start with Otawa-san. What? Maybe I should ask Futami-san. With that thought in mind, I went to her seat where she was studying reading. She was studying where she was reading. Futami-san, actually, there's something I'd like to ask you.
なんでしょう?
This is really weird. Man, it's like, the only way to get to Koyomi's route is to like have no other thing besides her going. I think I goofed up, but I'll go into this. What is it? She closes the book she was reading with a thud and looks at me. Could you lend me your notes on world history?
ノートですか?
What are notes? Notes, what do you mean? Don't say that. She pulls out her college notebook from her desk.
ご覧になりたいのですか?
So college rolled. Do you want to see it? Can I have a look?
どうぞ、お構いなく.
You may. I don't mind. I picked up the relatively heavy notebook and opened it to a random page. My eyes go wide. Her gaping mouth didn't roar. My mouth hung open and I couldn't make a sound. That makes more sense. The next page, every page had an endless view of that world. The world was endlessly explored on every page. Unable to make any more of this, I hastily closed the cage, which... I can't take it any longer and close the page in a hurry. What class is this? Thanks. What class is this? Hey, I wonder what class this is for. I gently return the notebook to its owner. I ask as if it's an afterthought.
授業のではないですよ。
It's not for a class. Yeah, I knew it. It's like some sort of video game nerdy thing. No matter how much I dozed off, if I wrote something that wasn't in the textbook, I'd understand. Let's see. No matter how often you fall asleep, if you write about things that aren't in the textbook, you'll understand. Huh?
私がこれまで書き溜めたものです。
It's something I've written up until now. At the same time, I put the notebook back on the desk. Does this mean there's no one in class?
はい。必要ないですから。
Or there's nothing from the class? Yes, there's no need. No, even if you say there's no need. Huh.
もうよろしいですか？
Is that enough? Yeah, sorry for intruding. As if nothing had happened, she returned to reading. There's no helping it. Let's go somewhere else. That was the last choice I had to make. That was the choice I had to make. Now that it's come to this, I can't pretend to be. My conclusion makes me look at a certain man. I'll borrow it from Sheen. In other words, I'm borrowing it from someone on the same level as me. To put it bluntly, this is a reckless move. Or so I thought, and looked at Sheen. As expected, Sheen was sleeping comfortably, breathing softly. Hey, Sheen, can I talk to you for a second?
何の用だ？俺の睡眠を邪魔しようというならただじゃおかないぞ。
What does it look like? If you try to disturb my sleep, I won't let you get away with it. What are you saying?
で、何の用だ？
So, what does it look like? Yeah, lend me your notes on world history.
いいけど、後悔しても知らねえぞ。
I don't mind, but I don't care if you regret it. Well, let's see if you can if you can lend it to me. Saying that, I immediately filled up the world history notebook in Sheen's hand. Filled up, you mean just took. I quickly flipped through the notebook to check the contents. But my eyes widened. I couldn't find anyone with an open mouth. My eyes widened and my mouth hung open. There was a world filled with mysteries I had never seen before. No matter how page I opened, that world is unfolding endlessly. No matter which page I open, that world is unfolding endlessly. Finally, I was terrified and hurriedly closed the notebook. It's fine after all. I returned the notebook with a shaken look, so of course, she peered at me suspiciously.
あ？頼んどいてそりゃないだろ。たっく本当に自分勝手なやつだな。
Oh, didn't you ask to do that, didn't you? Geez, you really are selfish. I say that, but that's too hard for me to understand. I'm talking about the thread worn that fills the entire page of that notebook. The thread worm.
あ、要するに俺の文字が汚すぎて読
I
め
don't
ん
know
と
if thread
そういう
worm
ことか。
is the right thing. That's like another word for it. Those worms that live just inside your anus. Huh, so basically, you can't read by writing because it's too dirty. And they make it really itchy, and they'll go away as long as you don't scratch it, because if you scratch it, you can accidentally re-eat the eggs. That's probably a curse. Kids are more respectable these days. What? This is Japanese bad handwriting too, not just bad handwriting you would think of. It's like trying to write this stuff here, but no, I don't have a cursor on it. Tried to write, Japanese sloppy. Indeed, that is probably a curse. The evil spirit clinging to you is manipulating your body to force you to write it down. I can only assume that. You should have a do medium or speed medium take a look at
余
it.
計なお世話だ。ノートなんて自分で読めれば十分なんだ。
That's none of your business. It's enough if you can read the notebook yourself. Still, there's a limit to what you can do, isn't there? You've got a lot of guts when it comes to Japanese.
バーカ。だから俺みたいなやつのためにワープロってもんがあるんだろうが。
Baka. Okay, continuing. Yeah, baka. That's why I have a word processor for people who owe me money. What's Google Translate have to say there? That's why it is a word processor for those who want to borrow it. There you go. Huh? You are able to use Word? Yes. He looks like he's lost his ability to speak.
なもん、ワンタッチだ。
Something like that. One touchy. Da. One touchy?
つまりまだ指一本でしか使えないってことだよね。
In other words, he can only use it with one finger, right? Oh, so he hop and pecks word. Someone suddenly cut in from the side, not knowing who called him. Not knowing who... It's UA, of course. Keep in mind that this was released, I think, in 1999. So, there was Word in 1999. And even before there was Word, there was the typewriter. And so people still in the 60s and 70s and 50s and stuff would take type in high school and middle school to learn how to type on a typewriter. So it's really weird. Yeah, so 1999 is not early enough for it to not make sense that someone can type well. But maybe in Japan, I suppose. I took type in middle school. Anyway. Perhaps because he had a lot of pride in strange places, and Sheen agreed with a hint of frustration. I see.
ちなみにユエもまだワンタッチだよ。
By the way, Yue-sama, you're still one touch away, you know?
ゆえちゃんもやってるんだ。
So Yue-chan's doing it too? Sheen seems to have regained his confidence the moment he joined us. When she joined us. He is as cashy as ever.
うん。だってゆえ文字下手っぴだから。それでパパのパソコン借りて練習してるんだ。まだ始めたばっかだけどね。
Yeah, because Yue is bad at writing, so I borrowed Papa's computer to practice. I've only just started though. Nani? And the reason I'm surprised isn't because I found out Yue is practicing word processing. Yue's bad at writing too. I was shaken by those words. That means her notebook is also not readable. Now that it was clear that Sheen's notes were useless, Yue was the last request left. Moshimo. What if Yue's words are as surreal as Sheen's? Now even more so than that. Hey Yue, show me your notebook. Eh? Tomoya slowly goes insane. All of a sudden, I feel like I've been dumped. I have no idea what's going on. I don't care. Just show me your notebook without saying anything.
やだよ。
I don't wanna. What's wrong with that? It's just like we're going to lose anything. Just a little. It's not like we're going to lose anything. Just a little moment.
いや。だってともちゃん絶対バカにするもん。
I mean, Tomo-chan's definitely wouldn't make fun of me.
あのな、ゆえちゃん。智也は世界史のノートを借りたいらしいんだ。だけど、ゆえちゃんの字が解読不能だったら書き写すことができない。
I mean, my Roman alphabet notes are intractable usually because you have to write it down so fast, right? You're not going to write neat. Hey, Yue-chan, Tomoya wants to borrow a notebook from world history, but if Yue-chan's handwriting is indecipherable, he can't copy it.
だからそれをぜひ確かめたいんだと。
That's why he wants to find out. Yeah, that's right. To put it simply, that's how it is.
じゃあ絶対バカにしない？
Then why don't you get mad? Then why don't you get mad at me for sure? Well, he'll get mad at yes. I won't, I promise.
わかった。でも本当にちょっとだけだよ。
Okay, but it's really just a little, okay? Yue pulls out the notebook out of her desk and hands it to me. I immediately flip to the cover, terrified of war. Baka kama. Baka ka oama aiha.
ああ、約束破った。
You broke your promise. This isn't an optimistic situation like a promise or anything, is it? Why is there a circle here? Why is this place jumping out? Is this a ka o no a ka me ka nu ka ne ka re ka wa ka ro ka ru? Okay, it's so basically like comparing like similar looking hiragana. So a and me look really similar, right? Me and I think it's nu look really similar. ne and re look really similar, and then with wa, and then ro and ru look really similar. Just how am I supposed to read this?
San.
San means either respect or 3.
数字の3。
Okay, it means 3. The number 3. So san, tuck. What's tuck? Jeez. But now that I think about it, I might have been naive for relying on these two.
確かに3と言われればそう見えなくもないけど。
I guess this is what happens when you abandon the Kaoru route. Go, huh? But if you say 3, it does look like that, but...
そういうシンくんだって、これじゃ文字とは言えないよ。
Even if you say that, you can't call it a letter like this. Huh. Right now, Yue and Shin were showing each other notebooks in front of me. I sighed deeply, slumped my shoulders, and returned to my seat. In the end, I managed to borrow a notebook from someone else. You can treat me next time. Random dude. Thank you, Nishino. Thanks to you, I'll be able to handle world history. Maybe we should study a little after all. As usual, math, English, and math, English, and what does Google Translate have to say? Are formidable, so these two subjects are absolute. Tomote. I mean, wrong kanji or something. So these two subjects are a must. And those would be history and Japanese. Now then, what should I do? Study in the classroom. Study in the library. Okay, we're going to do classroom because that's the route I'm trying to take here. It wouldn't be a bad idea to study in the classroom. The library might be like a Shion thing, but I don't think I'll study when I get home anyway, and I think it's too standard to go to the library. Well, I accidentally did a cutoff there. I'm sure I won't stay if I go home anyway. On the other hand, the library is just too standard, I think. Okay? It's too normie. Too cliche? Alright, let's get started. Next thing I knew, the area was completely dyed red. That was a lot of concentration. I'm hungry. Maybe I should stop at the school store. Okay, I see how this works. Sayumi-san. Wait, it's already closed. There's no sign of anyone at the school store anymore. wonder if Sayumi-san has already gone home. When I look around, there is no one there, and the school store was locked. I had no choice but to head home. There's almost no sign of anyone in the schoolyard. I wonder how Sayumi-san is doing right now.
Ah!
Ha! Well, there she is. Suddenly I hear a voice behind me. Turn around to see Sayumi-san. Sayumi-san came running towards me from the middle of the schoolyard.
ともやくん、今帰り？私も今帰るとこなんだ。
Toya-kan, are you going home now? I'm going to go home too. Ah, yes, well, something like that. For some reason, when I gave a suitable answer, I couldn't come up with anything else to say.
何？暗い顔しちゃって。
What's wrong? You look gloomy.
ん？当ててみちゃうぞ。
I'll try, I guess. What does Google Translate have to say? Let's try to guess, shall we? Okay.
Zubari. ズバリ、彼女とうまくいってないんでしょう。
You're not getting along well with her, are you?
まあまあ、小読さんに任せなさい。ちょっと付き合っちゃおうかな。
Now, leave it to Sayumi-san. I think I'll go out with her for a bit. What? Would you like to hang out for a while? How did this happen?
図星って感じね。だってこないだから急に黙り込んだりしちゃって丸分かりって感じよ。
It feels like I hit the nail on the head. I mean, you suddenly went quiet the other day, so it's like I figured it out. Not the other day, like now, right? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Why there's another day inserted. Google Translate says, it feels like a star. Okay, offline did better there. I mean, since you haven't been here yet, you've completely gone silent. And it's like I totally understand, right? Well, I get what they're trying to say, but there's some weird stuff in there that's like either translating to since you haven't been here yet or the other day, which neither makes sense. Oh no. She hasn't. It has to do with tests and handwriting. It doesn't have anything to do with like not getting along with Yue. No, that's not it.
隠さなくたっていいの。私もそんなことあるもん。
Now, you don't have to hide it. I can do that too. It's like I can deal with whatever else. I can deal with whatever else it is also.
24時間その人のことばっかり考えちゃうのよね。
24 hours? Or, I only think about him 24 hours a day. What? Something about thinking about that person 24 hours a day. I don't know what she's talking about. Thinking about who 24 hours a day. You might be right.
ほれほれ、夢にまで出てきちゃったりしてね。
Come on, come on. It might even show up in your dreams. What? It even appeared in my dreams. What? I don't... Something... Okay, it's the thing that person appeared in your dreams.
そんなともやくんにお姉さんからスペシャルなプレゼントがあるよ。
I have a special present for you. I, One-san, have a special present for you, Tomoya-kun. It's like she's not listening to me. You're just like completely caught off guard and panicking. Sayumi-san pulled out some kind of ticket out of her pocket.
じゃーん。
Well then, okay, now we have this CG. Myring Park. No, Marine Park. Marine Park? What's a marine park besides something that Uchikoshi would write about in 2 games from now? Okay.
今地元の若者で大人気マリンランドのチケットなのです。どう？これでデートにでも行ってきたら？彼女を喜ぶと思うよ。
It's very popular with local youth right now. It's a ticket to Marineland. How about it? Why don't we go on a date with this? I think you'll be happy. And to me, just be like, oh my. You come on strong here. Whoa, I was taken aback. How did this happen? Besides, who is she talking about? Yeah, I haven't figured that out either. You? Tomoya? Who does she think about 24/7 and also appear in her dreams? Why is her outfit so similar to Ayaka's? It's not the same, it doesn't have as much vertical lines in the artwork, but it's... thanks. Half forced, I accepted the ticket.
帰ってきたらレポートを提出するのだよ。
Turn in your report when you get back. Yes.
ってお母さん来週から店出るんだった。まあ近所だしどっかで会えるよね。
Wait. Oh, Kasan. Mom's leaving the store next week. Or I'm leaving the store next week. Well, we're neighbors, so we'll meet somewhere else. Ah.
なんだったら電話するからちゃんと報告しなさいよね。
Wait a second. So did he take both tickets and use them to go on a date? Wait, with someone else? Wait, so she... What? I'm trying to, decipher this, people problem here. So she's thinking, take these 2 tickets and use them to go on a date with someone you always are thinking about. Huh. Okay. I'll call you if you want, so make sure you report it to me. Mata. See you later. Well, flip it on her.
じゃあバイバイ。
Well then, bye-bye. You have to give her, you have to take her on a date, right? As soon as I get home, I lay down on my bed. I was looking at the ticket Sayumi-san had given me. Or tickets plural? Because there's no thing about plural in Japanese, it's hard to figure that out. Sayumi-san, huh? What should I do? Ayaka. What should I do? Thinking about it won't solve anything, will it? Before I knew it, I had fallen asleep. Okay, 14th. It's a very sunny Sunday. Sharp sunlight enters through the curtains. A bundle of light illuminates my face. Oh, this is skippable. If I remember correctly, this is... Who is that voice again? Okay, who's saying it? Do you know who it is? Okay. This is Yue, right? Is it Yue? I answer right away. Okay. Together. Well, whatever. Or... It's a pain. Different choice they did last time. It's a pain. It's not rational. I don't think there's any need for me to leave. Since Yue's going, why don't you get mine while you're at it? In other words, two birds with one stone.
だったらともちゃんがゆえのも取ってきてよ。
In that case, Tomo-chan, you go get Yue's too. Why do I have to be your gopher?
だからそれはゆえだって同じだよ。
Like I said, it's the same for Yue-san. Oh well, I guess I'll go with you.
そうそう、そうこなくちゃね。それこそまさに一石二鳥だよ。
That's right, that's how it has to be. That's exactly two birds with one stone. Or two birds with two stones. Nande da?
別になんでもないなんでもない。
I know, it's nothing, it's nothing. A different two birds with one stone.
ほいじゃあ15分後に駅の改札に集合ね。
Okay, let's meet up at the station, ticket gate, in 15 minutes, okay? I understand.
じゃあね。
See you later. Man, Yue is pretty stingy when it comes to stuff like this. Oh, Kataru. Feeling drained all over, I collapsed onto my bed. Even if we're doing this, precious time continues to pass. It seems like she's lost her edge, and for some reason she's lost our motivation. For a while I just lay there with ports. Not ports. Hoto. With Hoto. What's Hoto? No, Boto. Boto. Whatever, I don't care.
やっぱりかわいそうだから取ってきてあげるよ。
I feel sorry for you, so I'll go get it for you, he imagines. I faintly hoped she wouldn't call me, but of course, I didn't get any good news like that. Ah. Leaving a sigh of grief, I finally get to the bottom of it and get up. After stretching once, I relaxed and gripped the doorknob, stared vaguely at the door for about 3 seconds, then pushed it open with all my might. There were less than 5 minutes left until the appointed time. It deals with this. So the trash bag, or the trash can, right? Cardboard from the school store. Trash can. Okay, we have. Could be a necklace. Necklace. Oh, this is different. Okay. Don't tell me you're planning on wearing a necklace because of that.
うん。別にそういう意味でつけたんじゃないよ。
Yeah, that's not why I was able to glare at you, you know. Then what's the point?
おまじない。
Seriously. Seriously? Omajinai. That's ghost, right?
知らないの？
You don't know? Of course, I know the meaning of the word toy itself, but I've never heard of anything like getting a toy ring on a cat collar. Of course, it's shellfish. Okay. Hear Yui laughing loudly, the usual morning light bulb. Of course, all we were talking about was the test starting today. She said she wasn't confident in this subject, and that was perfect. And it was perfect. I'll be sure to answer this question on that page. The question on that page will definitely appear. The conversation I suddenly heard, the word Minamo. Eh? What happened to Minamo-chan?
もう現金だな。そこだけ反応するなんて。
Geez, you're so tense. That's the only part of you that reacts. It's proof that you're listening. Besides, Minamo-chan's a new friend.
友達ね。ふん。
New friend she is, hmm? But didn't we like dump her? So what happened to Minamo-chan?
あの子今病院にいるんだよ。
She's in the hospital right now. Did she get sick?
うん。まあそんなに大したことじゃないらしいけど、とりあえずっていう感じらしいよ。
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. It seems like it's for the time being. I see. I wonder if she's in the hospital. She certainly doesn't look very strong. I wonder if she was, okay. She certainly didn't look very healthy. Interesting.
それでね、やっぱり病院って退屈なんだって。それで夜電話があるんだ。
And then the hospital is boring after all, so I got a call at night. So Minamo-chan, how long are she going to be in the hospital?
そんなに長くないよ。すぐ戻ってくるよ。
It's not that long. She'll be back soon. Well, then we'll have to celebrate once she's out of the hospital.
へえ、みなもちゃんには優しいな。
Hey, you're so kind to Minamo-chan. Don't say it like that. Well, then why don't you come with me?
いいもん。ついでならいいもん。
It's fine, as long as it's on the way. I can't take a joke. She can't take a joke today. I can't take jokes today. Or she can't take jokes today. Okay. I'm surprised that Minamo-chan is in the hospital. I didn't think something like that would happen.
みなもちゃんは駅前の喫茶店のパフェがいいらしいですよ。
Minamo-chan seems to like the parfait at the cafe in front of the station. Thanks. Yoi's still puffing up. What a troublesome person. First day of exams ended without incident, giving us time to relax for the time being. Okay, so we're still on the first set of exams. That's why, Huh. And it's so heavy that I can't help but feel indebted to her. Now I think about it, she actually finished earlier than usual. I don't feel that way at all. Like finishing earlier than usual. I think today's tests are all passing marks, but at this rate, I'll need to get ready for tomorrow right away. Oh, this is not skippable. But this day will continue tomorrow and the day after that. Just thinking about that was depressing. Let's stop thinking about it. Otawa-san stood up next to me at the same time I shoved the problem sheet into my bag.
どうしたの？まだ初日だよ。
What's wrong? It's only the first day. She asked in her usual tone, looking at me with an optimistic attitude. From that first day on, I created a situation where I couldn't expect anything from you.
大変だね。
Must be tough. Tough. How about you, Otawa-san?
私はま、最終日をお楽しみにってことで。
Well, it's the last day of the festival. Well, please look forward to it on your last day. Or I'll be looking forward to the last day, or something like that. Probably meant to say I create a situation where I have no expectations of myself. It's probably what I just wanted to try to say 2 lines ago. What the hell is that? What is that? Can't believe she's willing to wait until the last day. Don't tell me you're gonna hold out until the last day of the test.
それじゃあね、三上くん。
See you later, Mikami-kun. See you tomorrow. I'll leave the crossing with light steps. This is my first test since coming to the school, but the atmosphere is pretty relaxed. It was a long time ago that transfer students were good at studying, but maybe it works even now. If that's the case, then Otawa-san is precious to me. But that doesn't mean it has anything to do with me. Now that I'm ready, I think I'll go home too. I grab my bag and get up from my seat. As soon as I did, someone approached me.
今日のテストどうだったよ。
Hey. His voice is awfully cheerful, and he stands in my way as if he's walking on my path. Judging by his tone, he seems to have had quite a difficulty today. Not good, but not bad. Perfect. In this case, I think I'll keep him in check. I don't know why this is not skippable. It's like the same as before. Perfect. It's perfect.
なるほ
Perfect.
ど。まずまずの出来ってとこか。
I see. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. Told you it's perfect.
こっちもそんなもんだ。
That's what I'm talking about too. He doesn't sign any signs of caring, he just nods in agreement. Called your bluff is what he did. Well, Sheen's the one who's always watching me cry after tests anyway. I don't know how many more days I'll be able to keep that confidence up, but wait, is it even a second? Well, it's about what happens in the end.
そっちこそな。
Likewise. Leaving those uncharacteristic words behind, he left. I don't intend to compete with him, but it seems like he's a little self-conscious about what just happened. That said, I'm not the kind of person you should be thinking about. Now then, I was talking to Sheen without thinking, but it's about time for me to go home too. Or so I thought, but that didn't happen after all. Skipped some stuff. Did you lose your notebook? What's going on? Okay, so this happens again. Oh, I see. Or... You're gonna read all that? Either one, right? Scene happens regardless. Whoops.
え
What wrong choice did I make here for her? Hope we'll be together forever. Eh? The words that came out of my mouth without thinking seemed to have confused her more than I had expected.
それはどういう意味でしょうか？
What do you mean by that? See, since I'm studying like this, I thought it would be nice if I could stay as long as possible.
そうですね。
Oh, you're right. Saying that, she fell silent again. I wonder what I'm doing. Okay. I don't know why it's not skipping. Never mind, I'll lend you the dictionary.
いいの？
Are you sure? Is that okay? Yeah, even if I don't have a dictionary, I have a secret technique.
秘技？
Secret technique? There are a few scenes where I made it through today's test with that too. There were several times in today's test where I was able to get through.
何を秘技って？
What secret technique? Leave the rolling of the pencil to luck. Watawa-san looked genuinely exasperated. She seems taken aback by my secret technique. What's wrong?
ごめん、私が悪かったわ。
Sorry, it's my fault. What? Huh?
辞書は返すから、しっかり活用して勉強してね。
I'll give you the dictionary back, so make good use of it to study. Saying that, she returns the dictionary to me. I took the dictionary, still confused, but... Are you really okay with that?
別にいいよ。三上くん見てたら、つい同情したくなっちゃうしね。
It's fine. Watching you makes me want to sympathize with you. Am I so pathetic that Otawa-san sympathizes with me? I don't know if that's a good use of the word sympathize, translator. This is going to take a certain amount of time that is not 9 minutes. No, I'll lend it to you after all, Otawa-san.
無理しなくていいって。
You don't have to force yourself. It's not impossible. Otawa-san hasn't been here long. Feel free to use it.
三上くん。
Mikami-kun. I can just borrow it from someone who doesn't seem like they'll be studying hard, so... Okay?
うん。そうさせてもらう。
Chain borrowing? I'll do that. Hotawa handed me the dictionary again, or I handed Hotawa the dictionary again, one or the other. It's quite a complicated exchange going back and forth.
じゃあ、今度こそ借りてくよ。
Okay, I'll borrow it this time. Yeah, make sure you study hard for me, too.
三上くんの分までやっても意味ないって。
There's no point in doing Mikami can share either. Well, whatever. See you later.
本当にありがとね。
Yeah, I'm really grateful. I somehow managed to give Otawa the dictionary, but... Well, as long as she gets a good score, I'm proud as the one who got it. Now then, let's borrow a dictionary from Sheen. I look around the classroom for Sheen, but... It's okay. Come to think of it, I hadn't had a single conversation with her today. With him, or whatever. Now, believe me, you saw me this coming and ran away first, didn't you? Wait, there's no point in venting my anger on someone who isn't here. I didn't see my main friends in the classroom anymore either. If I can't even see Yue-san, it's pretty bad. Of course, since I don't usually listen to class seriously, it's extremely difficult for me to conquer the scope of the test without a dictionary. What should I do? Okay, let's see here. Ask Yue if she has any leftovers. Well, we don't. She's not there. Not here, though. Search the dictionary left in the classroom. It's not a good idea. Go to the library. She no like that. This looks like a backwards hint. Like the, like it's reversed, kind of like that counter one where there was two, like it's not two right and one wrong. It's two wrong and one right, right? It's suspicious of that hint. Now, I'm not really trying to do her route right now, but whatever. It makes it so I do her stuff, it'll skip. I remember the existence of a certain place. If what I'm looking for is limited to the bottom, then there's a good chance I'll find it. What is Hone? It's a book. There's a good chance I'll find it in the library. That's right. The library is the last bastion. The quiet atmosphere had already reached the hallway. When I consciously opened the door, just like yesterday, it was during the test period, so there weren't very many people around. And as I thought, how should I put it? Looks like your turn again today, even though it's during the test period. It must be tough.
別に好きですから、こういう仕事。
I don't really like this kind of work. There was, as always, was a girl hard at work reading. Aren't you going to study today?
そういうわけにもいきません。
I can't do that. Then, suppressing my impatience, I pulled the words that followed out of the palanquin in my throat. Probably shouldn't be palanquin, but whatever. She was still unable to comprehend what I was still unable to comprehend what she was trying to say, right? Would you like to study together again? I wanted to believe those weren't the words I'd asked for yesterday. But Chief, Utama-san answers in a clear tone.
申し訳ありませんが、今日は うちで勉強しようかと思っています。
I'm sorry, but I'm thinking of studying at home today. I see. Something resembling exhaustion rests on my shoulders. Or hers. What Futami-san said was definitely not something she said in a bad way.
今日は三上くんの言われたことに習ってみようかと思います。
I think I'll learn from what Mikami-kun told me today. What I said? Yes.
うちでも勉強はしておいた方がいいと昨日言っていました。
Yesterday, you told me that I should study at home as well. Did I say that? Did I?
はい。
Yes. I searched my memory to see if I'd really said it. I'm starting to think I said something like that. It's called getting gaslighted. That too is starting to seem surprisingly easy. I think I said it. I don't have much confidence in my answer, so Futumai-san
ですから
continues.
今日はうちで勉強しようかと思います。
Therefore, I think I'll study at home today. I see. Futami-san only said that because she accepted my words. Isn't this just a waste of time for me?
何かお気に障りましたか？
Did I offend you? No, that's not true. Yeah, you're an excellent student to do what I said the next day.
私は三上くんの生徒ではありませんけど。
I am not Mikami-kun's student, but... Yeah, it's just a figure of speech, so don't worry about it.
あや？
Yeah? It's a skillful phrasing to add things while you're at it.
なるほど。勉強になります。
I see. That's very informative. Her expression looks a little closer to yesterday's. For some reason, I felt that way.
それで今日もここで勉強していくのですか？
So, are you going to study here again today? Well, if you have a Chinese dictionary, I'd like to borrow it.
辞書の揃いならあちらに並んでいます。
If you're looking for dictionaries, they're lined up over there. I turn to where she's pointing and see a row of shelves that look like them. I continued forward and pulled out a book that seemed reasonable from the shelves, lined with various dictionaries. I grabbed the same dictionary as what I'm holding and head back to the counter. That doesn't make any sense, translator. I mean, it's a simple sentence on its own, but it's like, this, same dictionary you had, you have it. You have it, you have it, or you don't.
ありましたか？
Did you find it? Yeah, then I'll borrow this. I write my name on the loan card and hand it to Futami-san. Rather than taking it easy, she put it in the management box in slow motion. And with that, the whole dictionary thing was resolved. When I put the dictionary in my bag, I turned my attention to Futami-san, who was looking down at the book she was reading again. A little question pops up inside of me. Hey, I've been wondering for a while, what kind of books do you read, Futami-san? She looked up at my question, stuck a bookmark in the book she was reading, and held it out to me.
今はこれです。
Now, it is this. Let's see. I've read this book before.
もう読み終えているのですが、つい何度も読み直してしまいます。
I've already finished reading it, but I've read it over and over again. Futami-san sounds a little happy, but her voice doesn't reach my ears. I've seen this somewhere before. No, I definitely remember seeing it. And in that moment I remembered. Where did I see this book? The skin-colored spine, an illustration of a foreign country. This is... Force?
そうです。読んだことがおありですか？
That's right. Have you read it before? At the time, I hadn't noticed the subtle change in Futami-san's expression, and my feelings had flown into the past.
ねえ、智也、夏休みの感想文の本決めた？
Hey, Tomoya, have you decided on a book for your summer vacation report? Yeah, you've already made up your mind? It's always early. Besides, summer vacation has only just begun, hasn't it?
もうそんなこと言ってるからいつも31日に私が手伝わされるんじゃない。
Geez, don't always make me help on the 31st because you always say stuff like that. Did something like that happen?
何言ってるの。毎年のことじゃないの。
What are you saying? It's not every year. Or it is every year. No, I'm always grateful to you, Ayaka. More importantly, what book did you choose?
これよ。
And this is it. Saying that she held out a book with a skin-colored spine. The Wonder Kingdom Force? What a strange name.
もう読みもしないでそんなこと言わないでよ。
Geez, don't say that without reading it. Well, hey, it's like a manga name, so what's the story? When I asked, Ak leaned forward and began explaining as if she had been waiting for this.
あのね、この本の中の国では誰でも不思議な力が使えるの。
You know, in the country, in this book, anyone can use mysterious mosquitoes. Okay, what does Google Translate have to say? Mysterious powers. Okay, that makes more sense. Anyway, like the old lady next door?
そうよ、生まれたばかりの赤ちゃんでもね。まあ、あんまりすごいことはできないんだけど。
That's right, even if it's a newborn baby. Well, I can't really do anything amazing.
でもね、主人公だけはその力が使えないの。
But the main character can't use that power. That sounds kind of bad.
そんなことないよ。だって主人公は本当は使えないんじゃなくて気づかなかっただけなんだから。
No, that's not true. After all, it's not that. The main character can't actually use it. He just didn't notice. Didn't notice.
そう。自分の力に気づいていなかったの。智也と同じね。
Didn't notice that people had powers he didn't have? That's right. I didn't realize that it was just me. Just like Tomoya. He didn't realize it was just him, just like Tomoya. Why would I come out of this? Uh-huh. Is a plot twisting coming? Don't laugh it off. It's like everyone else has mysterious powers except me, and I just don't notice I'm the only one without the powers. How is that going to apply? The book Ayaka had given me were still lined up in the bookshelf. The books Ayaka had given me were still lined up on the bookshelf in my room. But in the end, I never read that book. The book is still sleeping on the bookshelf in my room. I probably won't be touching that book for the rest of my life. That's right, even if it takes a lifetime, I won't touch that book. It was my will, my wish that I believed to be absolutely possible.
どうかしましたか？
Is something wrong? No, it's nothing.
この本を読んだことがあるのでしょうか？
Have you read this book before? No, I thought it might be true. But I think I didn't after all.
そうですか。
Why did she act like that? I see. For some reason, she looks disappointed. Did she want me to read the same book? But her expression soon returned to normal. Now then, I guess I'll go home and study too.
そうですか。
That's so. Well then, I'll see you later.
ごきげんよう。
Good day. Koki den yo. I lightly raise my hand and leave the library where Futama-san was staying. Nope, not skippable. I hurried to the shoe lockers, trying to suppress the pounding of my still awake heart. Should I really say that I was saved today? I didn't think that Futami-san acting on her own initiative would work on something like this. Then I looked at her book. I definitely touched on events from the past. That's proof that Ayaka still exists inside me. But that was also something I shouldn't remember right now. Another consciousness wells up inside me, rejecting me. Why did something like that happen so suddenly? Is that because I suddenly remembered Ayaka? Right now, all I could do was want to get out of here as soon as possible. While the sun was still high in the sky, I returned to my quiet home. I'm tired again today. It was a test period, so of course I only went to school for half a day. Even so, I couldn't help but mutter something like that. Of course, there was no way anyone would respond. For the time being, I put down my luggage and changed. Just as I took a breather, I finally pulled out the tools I needed to study from my bag. Of course, I also took out the Chinese language dictionary I had borrowed from the library. Now then, I thought I'd be able to study without worry. Then I suddenly lost all my motivation. Now that I thought about it, it was rare for someone to still study at such a high hour on a day like this. Isn't studying a little more after dark the best way to study for exams? That's right, I'll stay up all night desperately studying for tomorrow. This isn't the true meaning of studying for exams. Is this not the true meaning of studying for exams? You're supposed to do it this way. Do it all night style. With that, I settled on the conclusion that studying would have to wait. More importantly, for some reason, exhaustion robbed my body of its freedom. At times like this, I lie down on the bed, exhausted, and curl up into a ball like a cat. Whoops. I wasn't forced on looking at anything. I just stared at the clock in my field of vision. The hands of the clock moved to the right in a regular pattern. It's not something I learned from anyone. It's not like I'm acting on my own accord. It was a radiant that had already been decided from the moment it took the form a clock. It was a nature it already had. Time does not stop. That's why the clock keeps moving. I turned over in my sleep, and this time my eyes fell on the bookshelves lined up haphazardly. I reached out for the bookshelf and found that the book at the end of it. I hadn't consciously extended it to that book, but it was a conscious coincidence in the truest sense of the word. As if even that sounded like a lie, my hand touched the book. However, I immediately let go of the book, as if rejecting it. It's almost as if that unpleasant sensation of touching something scary is making me let go of the book. Even if it takes a lifetime, I won't touch that book. That's what I wished for. And that wish, it was also a revelation that I could smile innocently, that I would never return to those days. Futami Shion. I wonder if the resemblance to Ayaka that I see, is truly a coincidence. Why does that strange sensation of her long hair make me think of this? Make me feel so deep. Why does the mysterious feeling of that long hair make me feel so deep? That was the first moment when I truly began to care about her. Okay, I'm going to save. Get rid of the OCR. Okay. Well, I still haven't cleared scene 76. I think 69 might be new, though. And once I get to 77, I'm clear all the way through, right? Yeah. But I actually was like back here at like the 65, 66, 67 sort of zone. That's why I haven't even gotten like into the between zones where 76 is triggerable. So yeah, my goal was to do Koyomi stuff. It looks like I'm getting a high affinity to Shion here, which is odd because I actually didn't in the save file I'm working on, I actually hadn't done like Shion's second like scene that you can do with Shion, where you go to the schoolyard instead of the roof. I actually went to the roof, so I don't know if it's actually going to fall into Shion's route or not. Koyomi still seems a little bit elusive. Right, so Ayaka, nothing new. UA, nothing new. I mean, there's different variations of this, but Shion, we still have something in between here we don't have. Interesting. And then this one has multiple variations, right? Kaoru is complete. Inama, we just have our first three, as usual. And Koyomi, we have our third one. Still this mysterious character I can't identify. Okay. I did, if you're wondering, I did actually go and listen to, This May Be the Last Time We Meet. So I listened to the song. It is what it is.